Hey, welcome back to Geekshow Helpdesk.
Hey guys, I am so excited to be here. It's just me and Tony today. Owen is going to be a bit late.
Yep. I feel like there's someone else, though. Is there someone else?
I'm not
here?
going to bite. I'm not going to bite. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. And I'm just like, you know what? It's not
You
worth
just
it.
bit.
It's not
You
worth
did it.
There he is.
You know what I should have committed to the bit and just been silent the rest of the podcast.
This is the Geekshow Helpdesk, where we talk about tech gadgets and science-adjacent things that we find interesting. Hopefully it's news.
Science
What?
adjacent things or science things?
Well, I don't like to call us a science podcast because we're not that smart.
We're into pseudoscience on this podcast.
There
Big
it
time
is.
pseudoscience. Yeah,
Nailed
that's
it.
Cryptozoology, all that good stuff.
So Tony,
Astrology.
I need you to update the intro. Pseudoscience podcast.
The Geekshow Helpdesk, a pseudoscience podcast.
We like the results of science. We just can't explain what it means
That's a good
or
way of
how they do it.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and introduce our panelists. Owen is on his way. He'll be joining us en route. Is that the right term? I think
No,
so.
he'll be joining us when he ends his route. I think en route means he's currently routing.
Okay.
He's on his way.
He'll be joining us in progress. There we go.
Yes.
That's
oh
what
no,
I'm
the
looking for.
podcast is en route. That's right. I see what you're saying now.
Yeah, that wasn't a very good.
I thought
analogy.
you said Owen will be joining us while he is en route,
No.
and that's not what's happening. He will join us when his journey is complete.
Anyway, let's introduce the panelists. He's the quiet guy. He's Lando.
I am also the guy who corrects people on what they say tonight. Apparently, I'm Landon.
Yeah, that's usually Tony's job.
Yeah.
Mm,
You want that
I'm
job
taking
tonight?
that role. I'm
Okay.
taking that role tonight.
All right. We'll see how long you last.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You got to know when to fold them, and you got to know when to hold them.
Yeah, if you're taking on that role, we'll mock you mercilessly the moment you mess up.
What's different about that than usual?
Yeah,
Jared?
you're right. You're
Absolutely nothing. He loves to mock Lando mercilessly, and we all know that. It's
Oh,
Jared.
it's because Lando is so much like myself, and I see myself in him
Aw.
in a non-sexual way.
Wait, what?
I'm just going to stop there. We have a host. His name is Tony.
Hey, let's get this back on the rails. Check me out on Twitter at QuadTTony or on other Geek Show podcasts. Okay, let's see. Oh, emails? Do we have any emails?
Kind of. We do, but
So should I only play half of the sound?
I'm
drop?
gonna do my job here. You cannot kind of have an email. Either you do or you don't. It's
well,
a
let me
binary.
prove it to you. It's
hang
a
on.
gaming email sent to the help desk email address.
Oh, that doesn't count. That's for
Aren't we gonna
arcade.
Save
Then.
it for arcade.
Yeah, we are.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why it's kind of an email.
Good thing I
No,
didn't
that's
push
no
the button
emails
then.
for help desk.
Didn't push the button. All right, if you do want to email us at geekshowhelpdesk@gmail.com. If you want to ask us or make a suggestion about things, gadget, tech, or science-adjacent pseudoscience.
Nice.
Let's see. Well, we might as well get right into the programming then. We have some pretty interesting things to talk about here today.
Can we start with my pseudoscience?
the Cotton Candy Planet?
The Cotton Candy Planet.
Okay, let's talk about
This
Cotton
is-
Candy Planet.
So, you know, I love space, and I love talking about discoveries that we make in space, right? This one just might be my favorite. Excuse me. So, there's a new planet we've just recently found that's lovingly named WASP, WASP-193b.
Doesn't sound like a fun planet. I don't want to
Candyland.
go there.
The cool thing about this planet is it's nearly 50% bigger than Jupiter, and you guys all know that Jupiter is a very large planet. In fact, it is the largest planet in our solar system,
Yep.
right? So this one's 50%
So they
bigger than
say.
that. However, the interesting part about this planet is it's also light and fluffy, and its overall density is compared to that of our cotton candy. It's just over a hair. It's just a hair over 1% of the density. I can say words, I promise. Of Earth. So it's very very
Wow.
large and not very dense at all, which I
So
thought was pretty fun. And it's
you-
pink.
You
So
could
it,
fly right through it is kind of what you're saying, it sounds like.
and it would
I-
float in an ocean of water.
It
or
would float.
Other liquid.
Yes.
This is crazy.
Isn't this cool? I think they need to name it the Cotton Candy Planet.
So is it hot like Jupiter or no?
Oh, I don't know. It's a good question, Tony. It doesn't say if it's hot or cold.
So
It
here's
just talks
a
about
quote
density.
from the actual article, which is a quote from,
read through your
well, it
article.
looks
Okay,
like a
okay.
scientist, and it is, the planet is basically super fluffy.
Right? That's what I
Scientific
said.
term right there. says the planet is so light that it is difficult to think of an analogous solid state material. Wow.
Anyway, I thought this was pretty neat, so I want to
Yeah,
talk about it.
that's
And it's
cool.
pink. The
How
picture's
far-
pink.
How far away is it?
It says that in the article, and I forgot it off the top of my head. Blah blah blah. It's a long ways away. Lots and lots of light years. 1,232 light years away.
1,000.
Found it.
Okay, there you go. That's
So if you were to fly there right now at the speed of light, Tony, it would take you 1,232 years.
You'll never see it.
yep.
Never say never.
Most
can happen.
likely never see it.
Probably not. But
All right, let's talk about. Well, that was the planet of Lando's dreams. Let's talk about the gadget of Jaren's dreams.
And this is not pseudoscience. This
this
is
the
real.
mop?
This is the mop.
Oh boy.
Dyson has finally
Hold on,
entered
so
the
can we just-
mop
hold on.
game.
I'm
Can
glad
we-
you
can
put
we-
this on here because I also think it looks great.
And-
Can we stop for just a second and like just acknowledge the fact that we're quickly becoming an appliance podcast as well? It's like we're a pseudoscience, we're a tech podcast, but we're quickly becoming an adult themed
Whoa.
appliance show
What now? Adult themed?
for adults.
oh.
We're all adults. We like mops
Well,
and
I mean,
appliances.
it did kind
Tony,
of
where did your
start
brain go?
in an adult-themed manner with
Jared
Lando
was talking about
having
being inside
fantasies.
you earlier and everything, so
That's
I just
true.
don't know where to go from there.
Again, Tony, I need you to update the
Mops. That's where we go.
Oh,
mops. Anyway, I've reviewed a few gadgety mops in my day.
intro. A few?
A few. One by Bissell, one by what's that company called?
Tyneco?
Tyneco,
Tineco?
Tineco, whatever. Yeah, and I like them. They are very useful gadgets, especially when your progeny pukes all over the floor and you're also sick yourself. And
Freaking progeny.
I know. And the only way to clean it up without puking yourself is to use a mop like this.
I would use a wet dry vac and just suck it up. That's what I would do.
Anyway, so Dyson, they've entered the mop game, but not in the way that any other mop that I've seen, anyway. It doesn't have suction to it. There is no vacuum in this mop.
This mop does not suck.
It does not suck,
Does it blow?
even though it's made by Dyson.
Doesn't blow either.
Yeah, it's interesting how they do it. So they have like a little lint trap area to collect debris in it.
The puke?
No, so I don't think this would. I don't think this would work well on puke.
No,
But
no.
it seems like it would work well on
you
everything
have
else.
deceived me, my friend, because you were
No.
talking about progeny, offspring, puking on the floor.
Yeah. I may have oversold it, but anyway, it doesn't puke. No, that's not what I was saying. It doesn't suck. There we go. It doesn't suck. It has like a little lint trap to pick up debris, but they have two rollers that move in opposite directions, and the rollers will
Kind of scoops things in.
scoops things in, puts it into the debris trap, and
pronounced
as it
debris?
scoops things in, debris.
Debris.
Debris? No, Debris is a girl's name.
That's Deborah.
Oh, Deborah. And Devry. That's
Barbara
the girl's
Bra?
name.
No,
Deborah?
Barbara Bra. You guys-
Barbara?
Barbara Bra.
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 You guys don't get it. It's fine. It's a deep cut reference to TikTok, and if you're not there, you're not there.
Oh, see, Bra is a reference to Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking you were saying.
Nope, wrong reference. It's fine. Keep going.
Barbara.
Bra.
What was it? Oh yeah. So the little rollers, as it moves with the water on them, there's it uses friction or whatever. No, it uses something to push against them to push the water out of the rollers and into the dirty water tank.
Kind of a squeegee type situation.
Yeah,
Probably.
exactly. Yep. And because of that, the battery life is super long. They say you can mop like a 3,100 square foot floor with it.
That is much.
That is very much, and due to how they've done it, it supposedly does a very good job. However, it's not coming out till this fall, and it costs $700 or 600 pounds across the pond.
Start saving your money now, Jaren. We
covered
expect
with
a
that.
full review.
Once it goes unrefurbished and a sale on top of that, I think I'll buy it, but not for $700. No.
I have a question for you, Jaron. Do you own the Dyson hairdryer?
No, but I wish I did.
I was gonna say you seem like the kind of dude who'd own that, and this
If-
you also seem like the kind of dude who'd own this mop.
Oh yeah, this mop over the hairdryer any day. But
Really?
if money were no object, yeah, I'd own a hairdryer too.
Freaking objects.
Or two. You want the one that curls your hair as well?
Yeah, it wouldn't be so bad.
Keeps that out of your face, you know?
Yep. So it has
Well-
26 hydration points to precisely soak the microfiber rollers, ensuring they're hydrated enough to tackle stains and dry dirt.
But it doesn't suck.
So microfiber rollers, and it has like bristles at it at some point. So the problem with all the vacuum mops I've tried for stuff that's really stuck on the floor, it doesn't work too well. You have
Yeah.
to like pre-moisten it,
Yep.
then get back to it, and it'll do okay. So I wonder how this would work on that. If from the article, it sounds like it could be better, but we wouldn't know until someone takes it and reviews it.
Well,
Well,
even
it's
with
Dyson.
reviews, they usually don't review stuff like that. It's all fresh dirt. It's always fresh
Yeah,
dirt
you're
with the
right.
vacuum reviews.
Rice.
Fresh spills with the mop reviews.
Yeah,
you know.
it's not dried
Yeah.
up cat puke or kid puke.
Yeah, it's not a real lived-in house kind
Like,
of dirt.
who has the time to clean up something on the floor right when it happens? Do they ever live?
Seriously.
I say
come
no.
on. That's right.
Especially with kids.
Yeah.
You'll just be spending your whole time
Seriously.
cleaning.
Oh my gosh, that's all you do when you have kids, Tony.
Is it?
Jaron, back me up here, dude.
What?
It's all you do when you.
All right, moving along. Here's another thing you could have bought, but you already missed the auction. Cheyenne, the supercomputer, was auctioned off a couple of weeks ago. I meant to have this in, and I forgot that I emailed it to myself until this week. So,
So our listeners missed out on the auction.
yeah, well, I mean, it went for a cool $480,000.
We got well-to-do people, I'm sure.
But the crazy part about that is, oh dang it! Now I forgot. I looked it up, but the original cost on that was much more than around $500,000.
Money's no object.
Cost of Cheyenne.
This is the content the listeners come from. The live interactive Googling.
Hearing
By
Tony
Tony.
Google something.
Yeah.
Okay, so a conservative estimate was it costs about $25 million, and it sold for under $500,000, and it wasn't even that old because
Wow, the depreciation on technology is real.
so it went into service in like 2018 or 2017.
Wasn't far.
It's like 5 or 6 years
Yeah.
ago. And it depreciated from $25 million to $480,000.
Not so.
This thing, at the time that it was released, it was quite the beast. Where'd it go? 8,064 Intel Xeon E5 2697 V4 processors. Each of those has 18 cores or 36 threads, which means many cores. So whatever 18 times 8,000 is, that's how many cores this thing had, plus not including the multi-thread aspect. So double that again.
That's 144,000 cores, Tony.
Yeah, look at that. Guess how much RAM it had?
A bajillion. gigs.
313 terabytes of RAM.
A bajillion.
That's
gigs.
significant.
Yeah. And they were 64 gigabyte modules. So, I mean, those are still massively large modules.
Probably slower RAM.
Yeah.
server
I think-
RAM, right?
I think it was, it's ECC, so it's a little
Yeah.
slower. But it was also, I think, back when they were doing DDR3 RAM. I don't think it's DDR4, but I can't remember for sure. But yeah, so it's crazy. Oh, 32 petabytes of high-speed storage. But that didn't come with the computer, unfortunately. They sold that off separately. So, yeah,
That makes sense.
it's wild that something that was a supercomputer, one of the fastest in the world at the time, sells 6 years later for 1/50th of its original price, and is considered slow at this point, or too slow to use, basically. Too slow to use and not effective enough to refurbish, because there was some stuff in there that was dying. That's part of why they retired it. Not all the motherboards were good and things like that. Some of them had worn out, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, it was mainly used for weather and climate studies. It was a 5.34 petaflop system. So, yeah,
Some petaflops.
that's some petaflops right there. That is crazy. Anyway, just interesting to see how the depreciation works even on enterprise level technology and things like that. So, Let's talk about Google I/O and its announcements.
Yeah, it was interesting because everyone knows it's going to be about AI.
AI this, AI
Yeah, and OpenAI the day before talked about Chat-GPT
This is my story.
4.0 and totally stole Google's thunder.
Womp womp.
Big time.
Do you want to start with that one and then move into Google
Yeah, we might
Yeah,
as
we
well.
can talk about.
chronologically?
Yep.
So I started seeing the ChatGPT 4.0 stuff on TikTok, and like it was clips of the live demos they did at the announcement. This thing's bonkers. This thing is so crazy. So they've redesigned it from the ground up. They have made it multimodal natively. So that means it consumes it consumes, and its model is based off of video, pictures, text, audio,
Wow.
all those
It's-
different things natively.
It's like Her, the movie.
Uh-oh.
And not
That was
only
a
that,
cool
but
movie,
the interface, they've developed the interface to be able to chat with it like just a person. My first thought was the computer from Star Trek. Hey, computer, tell me about this or that. And the demos are exactly like that. Like you have a conversation with this thing, and it is eerie at how like almost real it is. Like
Whoa.
it is you got to go watch some of these videos and the demos and the things you can do with this thing.
Live translation, which we've had that, but this is so much more seamless. Like it's listening the entire time. So if someone speaks, it will translate. You speak, it will translate, and you don't
Yeah.
have to like push a button or anything like that.
Well, not only that, but you can be like, hey, Chat GPT or whatever, what do you see? And I'm like, oh, I see this and this and that. Or tell me about this. Oh, this is that and that. And then it's like, oh, I'm going to show you a math problem. Oh, sure, here's the math problem done for you. Like, and not only that, or it'll teach you. Like, it's just like ChatGPT. You can tell it what you want to do and how to do it. And it is, the only thing I don't like about it is just how eerily optimistic it is. Have you seen the demos, Jaron? It's like how
Yeah.
happy it is. And it's
The-
like,
the-
yeah, I'm
the
happy to help you,
intonation,
whatever.
the intonations of the voice. I think it's past Uncanny Valley. It's like next level voice, and
For sure.
Yeah, in the one where it's teaching, it's teaching a kid about math, about geometry.
Linear equations, the one I saw.
Oh,
Did you see that one?
I didn't. I saw the one about geometry, like a triangle specifically,
Oh, okay.
and
I didn't see that
like
one.
the kid was interacting with it just like a normal teacher would, and like
Yeah.
it was responding quickly. You didn't have to wait awkwardly for
No.
a response. I mean it was a demo, so who knows what it'll be like in real life.
Best case scenario when they do the demos. So.
But it was a live demo, so
Oh, wow, okay.
yeah,
It was,
there's
yeah.
that.
All right.
And like you can use this camera, so you interact with your phone, and it'll use the camera on your phone, and you can say, "Hey, ChatGPT, describe what you see to me." Oh, I see a person wearing a leather jacket and a light shirt, in a room with a concrete background and dim lighting. On the other side, I see a bunch of production equipment. Perhaps you're making an announcement, like
Like for accessibility
Crazy.
for people who can't see or can't see very well, it'd be amazing, you know.
It's almost like talking to you and me, like you and I are talking right now. Like it's almost that. I'm like not even joking. Like it's almost there. It's crazy. The computer from Star Trek is like tomorrow's technology. Easy.
Yeah. So overall, it's much faster. It improves everything: text, vision, audio.
How is it? They probably didn't go into this because they don't care about this, showing it off at the beginning of their announcement, I'm sure, announcement cycle. But how is it efficiency-wise? Is it any more efficient than the old ChatGPT 4 was?
Oh, for like the model and stuff and
Yeah.
processing power.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't think they talked about it at all.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like something they'd go on about at the beginning.
I'm sure it takes a crazy amount of compute power.
Oh, yeah. for
Just like
sure.
the old model did. Like that's the one downside to AI, if we're gonna get into that a little bit, is just how much compute power it takes, right? We just got done talking about the supercomputer. It probably takes like 5 of those to process the model. And then it's continually learning, right? So it's just crazy bonkers amounts.
I wonder how
Which
much.
is the downside.
I wonder how much of a difference it makes depending on how many people are using it at the same time. You know, because they don't. Do you think they run different instances of it for every person that's using it, or does it have one master instance?
It's hard to say. The ChatGPT 4.5, you could spin up different instances, right? So we're the place where I work. We're an Azure company. We use a lot of Azure resources, and you could spin up multiple models of ChatGPT 5 and train it on different bits of data, completely separated and walled off from each other. So I have to think that OpenAI is doing something like that for this, because eventually they're going to want to make money on it, right? And
Yeah.
money's in the enterprise. And enterprise is, rightfully so, very concerned about security and data privacy. So I'm sure that's, if it's not part of ChatGPT 4.0 now, it will be soon, because that's a huge deal for a lot of people, is the data privacy side of things.
Crazy.
Yeah, there was other demos about having ChatGPT take care of a product return for you over the phone.
That would be cool.
Yeah, a lot
Might
of
get-
interesting stuff was showed.
I could see it getting to the point where you just tell a personal assistant to take care of your Amazon return, and that personal assistant talks to Amazon's AI bot to return things, and they just work it out together.
It's
basically.
funny you mentioned that. One of the demos I saw was actually, they had two instances of ChatGPT 4.0 talking to each other on two different phones. One was vision enabled and one was not. And they were having the one that was vision enabled describe what it sees to the one that wasn't. And they would have a conversation about it and just back and forth describing it. Like, oh, tell me more about this. Tell me more about that. What do you see there? Oh, you mentioned that there was this light in this plant. Tell me more. Bonkers. Bonkers craziness. The other thing I was thinking about is, in the past we've talked about these AI devices like the Humane Pin and the
Rabbit.
Teenage Engineering Rabbit, and how bad they suck.
Yep.
If this was on those things would all of a sudden become really, really good. This is game changing for AI.
Assuming that it doesn't make up crap all the time. We don't really know much
That's
about
fair.
that bit yet.
Yeah, it's brand
That's
new.
a fair
You know,
point.
it's brand new. We haven't had time to corrupt it yet.
It will be corrupted soon.
That's just how it works, unfortunately. Well, cool. All right. So then, how did Google I/O talk about this?
Pretty much all Google I/O was AI. Of course.
Company
How
said
did it
AI.
compare?
Says the company said AI 121 times in its presentation.
Yep.
Is there a
Yep.
supercut of that on YouTube yet?
Oh my
AI,
gosh.
AI,
Probably.
AI,
Yeah.
AI, AI.
So Google announced a brand new AI model called Gemini 1.5 Flash. It's optimized for speed and efficiency. It sits between Gemini 1.5 Pro and Gemini 1.5 Nano, which is Nano is their smallest model, which runs locally on the device. So it's in between that and something on the cloud. So they also talked about Project Astra. This is kind of their multimodal demo. So this wasn't live. So I'm very curious about this.
They didn't have that much faith in it.
No, Google has had non-live demos in the past that ended up being completely fake, like bunk.
Fabricated.
Yeah, like specifically around like their phone assistant taking care of phone calls for you. That never really materialized. Anyway, so in this Project Astra demo, someone's moving around their office, holding up their phone, pointing at camera at various things, and having a natural conversation with it. And it tells the user that they left their glasses, and without the user even asking. And then they go and get the glasses, and voila, it's a special smart glasses thing that they haven't announced. So this is most definitely fabricated, in my opinion. They have asked Google Photos using AI to find the best photos that you've taken. So you can ask it, show me the best photo from each national park I visited. So I hope the AI's taste is aligned with yours. or
Yeah,
else-
that's what I was going to say. How does it know what you like?
yeah, that feels like a really stupid feature. Like seriously, I don't know. Then they announced two VO and Imagine 3. These are like OpenAI Sora, where it can produce videos. They can do it up to like 1 minute clips. And Imagine 3 is a text to image generator that goes toe to toe with DALL-E 3, supposedly. They've updated Google Search. Probably not in a way that anyone cares. They still have a lot more ads than they used to, and all of their search results are still gamed by everyone, so you'll still get crappy search results.
Yeah.
Have you noticed how bad Google Search has been lately? Like,
You
I'm
have to
almost to the
scroll.
point.
Like you just
Yeah.
know you're going to scroll at least once to get to the
Right.
organic search results instead
Yeah.
of. I just wish they would freaking police their ad buys so that criminals aren't able to post fake links under
100%.
sponsored,
I'm
stuff.
almost to the point where I would switch search engines, because last week it was rumored that OpenAI was going to announce a search engine on Monday. Instead, they announced Chat-GPT 4.0, and I was thinking if I would totally switch to OpenAI search.
100%.
Yeah. Anyway, so they're just talking about their AI overviews, which people have been using in beta. I've been using it for the last couple months. The AI overviews are interesting, kind of. Like they say, the results for the AI overview could be false, so check your data, so it doesn't feel that worthwhile sometimes.
That defeats the purpose 100%. Yeah, we'll give you all the answers. They might be wrong, though, so you better check them. Well, I'll just do the work from the beginning then and find the right answers from the start.
What good are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then talked about Android 15. They're integrating Gemini directly into Android, which releases later this year. Gemini will be aware of the app you have open, image or video, and you'll be able to pull up as an overlay and ask it context-specific questions. But you were already able to do that with Google Assistant, so I'm not sure how different this will be compared to that.
Oh, go ahead.
What are your thoughts on this, O-Dog?
A wild
dog.
Owen has
I
appeared.
love AI, so whatever it is, I want it.
Just in case it's listening for future
Just in
reference,
case.
I love AI.
I think AI is super good. Wait, did they watch
Trains on
you?
video,
Does
Owen.
Oh no!
Yeah, they can see.
Oh no!
They see you shaking your head.
What a day, guys. Sorry I'm late. Hello, everybody. Don't mean to disrupt.
Can you
Carry
tell
on.
us? Can you tell us more about your day in the after show or the in between show?
I will talk about it in the in between. It was a
Perfect.
thing. The whole thing.
Well, there you go. Google I/O. They didn't announce any hardware or anything, right? Nothing really fun. Just a bunch of
No.
OS stuff.
Yep.
Google search.
AI, to drive that stock price up.
AI.
If you say AI enough times,
121 according to this.
your stock price will go up.
I love it.
Well, there you go. All right. Let's talk. Okay. I don't know how to segue into this, so I'm just going to say it. Apple's being Apple, and they're hiding their specs again on their new devices. Ooh, it makes me so mad when they do this. The new iPad Pros that we gushed about last week, which I still think are pretty awesome. They're very expensive. I didn't realize it because I hadn't bought an iPad Pro in quite a while, but these models are $200 more expensive than the previous year's model. So
They are?
Yeah, there's quite the price jump.
Wow.
But they soften the blow a little bit by
They come with USB-C and all that.
Oh yeah,
Of course.
I mean they've had
Oh,
that for a
okay.
couple years.
Oh, they
But,
have. Oh, they have. Okay.
on the iPad Pros, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
they soften the blow a little bit by raising the base storage configuration from 128 to 256. It's $200 more than what you would have paid previously. Anyway, that's not the point of this story. The point of this story is, just like last year, they're hiding their specs way down at the bottom of the sheet, where you find out, oh, I have a different amount of CPU cores and RAM depending on how much storage I buy.
Or they have different storage options based on the CPU and RAM you choose.
Well, see, and that's the point. That's kind of what I want to get into is, I'll just say what they are first. So the 256 or the 512 gig models come with a 9-core CPU, not the 10-core that they talked about in the keynote. That was all about the 10-core, how the M4 is a 10-core CPU. Well, there's a 9-core option. And
Yeah, I get it. No one's going to use that extra core anyway
But
on
still,
an iPad.
Okay, hang on.
But you're right. They should have said it.
And RAM-wise, if you buy the 256 or the 512 model, you get 8 gigabytes of RAM. Versus if you buy the 1 or 2 terabyte model, you get 16 gigabytes of RAM and you get that extra CPU
8
core
gigabytes
back.
of Apple RAM is 128 gigabytes of normal RAM.
I mean,
Tony.
that's true. We all know this. That
I was gonna say that,
Apple
yeah.
RAM is better than. I really hope you can hear the sarcasm in my voice, listener.
I cannot.
'cause
No.
and mine.
No.
We are
There's no
laying
sarcasm in my
I
voice
love
at
it.
all.
pretty thick. Lando is not being sarcastic.
Here's okay. I'm going to say some words, and you guys are going to hate it, but that's okay.
he
I'm going to
loves
say
it.
it.
Mute him,
Give-
Tony. Mute him.
No,
Nope.
Lando, if you're going to defend their 8 gigabytes of RAM nonsense, you're wrong because it was tested when they tried to pull that crap.
I'm not going to defend it. Here's the
Okay,
point, though.
okay.
Here's if you watch the MKHB videos, on the new-
MKBHD.
that's the one. His whole thing is like, yeah, they're better, they're awesome, they're great, they're more powerful. They got the new M4 chip. Yeah. At the end of the day, what can you do different with these iPads that you can't do with last gens, or even the gens before? Right?
That's
He's got
a
an
moot
M.
point. That
Speed-wise,
doesn't
yes.
matter.
Screen-wise, it's a
Well,
nice upgrade.
Principle.
I'm talking
principle.
straight.
Even still, sure, the OLED screen's great, but at the end of the day, the vast majority of people who use these things,
You're right.
it doesn't really
No,
matter.
You're not wrong, but the point is Apple does this, and it makes me so mad. Where if they would just say, "Here's our models. This is what you get with this one. This is what you get with these ones."
And I
instead of not saying anything, and you have to drill down
Tony,
into their spec sheet to
you're-
find out
Tony,
the truth.
I think you care about this more than most people do.
I don't
Because most
think
people
I
who buy
do.
the Apple products aren't buying them based on specs.
You can't make
I
an
think
informed
there
decision without
are
seeing all the
people-
information
See
up
that?
front.
Thank you, Owen. Exactly.
You know,
People
like,
care. They want the newest, the latest, the
here's the
greatest
thing.
iPad, and they want the experience. They don't. I
if
mean,
you're an Apple
there are
fanboy,
some people who care for sure, but
And
the
you're-
vast
but
majority of who these things are geared
here's-
towards
here's
do
my-
not care.
Here's my experience with most Apple users. They want the best thing Apple has. Unless you're buying for a child or you're buying for a college student, they want the best. Apple's shooting themselves in the foot here by burying it. Just
Yep.
list everything and say, here's the top end and here's how much it's going to be.
Because
they'll
it
get
goes-
they'll get the Apple really huge.
Not only that, but it doesn't
wanna-
affect them.
It goes
Let's-
both. It goes
let's
both ways,
be
though,
honest,
Lando.
though.
If they were upfront with the specs, there's people that would go, "Well,
Just what-
I was gonna buy
people
the
that don't
512
care.
gig,
Yeah.
but
Bigger is better."
I know that if I go up to the 1 terabyte for another $400, I get double the RAM and an extra CPU core. So I'm going to
At
do
the
that.
end of the day,
There's
it
a
doesn't
few
matter.
people-
None of that
there's-
matters.
I
No,
want
no.
I want a
You're
16 gig, 256 gigabyte storage option.
That doesn't have it.
I know.
Can't do it.
Yeah, I'd pay an extra $100
And I
for
don't know-
16 gigs.
Who, besides
It
people
does-
who do video, who cares about storage?
To
Like,
Lando's
honestly.
point, it really doesn't matter because he's right. The vast majority aren't gonna care.
One- and not only
But-
that, but none of the apps care. Nothing
No,
runs differently.
Absolutely. But there's a large portion of Apple users that I know that just go, bigger is better, and they've got disposable income to use it. So, like, why wouldn't they just list everything up front and let those people spend their money?
Well,
I
those
don't-
people
Well,
don't give a two
the-
toots about the specs. They're just gonna go
You're-
bigger is better, more
the
money
problem
more.
the problem
Boom.
with RAM
care
in
about
an
that.
iPad is unlike every other modern operating system like Mac OS, Windows 11. The iPad is changing quite a bit still. Like they added a new form of multitasking just 2 years ago, right?
That
Who
was
knows
a
what
long
kind
time ago in the tech world, Jaron.
So you're
who
future-proofing
knows-
yourself.
Yeah, who knows what kind of new multitasking features they'll announce 1 year from now, 2 years from now,
Right.
where you might actually need that RAM, but
And
you don't know
that's-
right now.
And if
It's
you're,
easy to
if
do
you're
software
spending
patches, right? It's not
Yeah.
so easy to send a stick of RAM in the mail.
hardware
Hey,
patches.
buddy. Hey, buddy.
The, 2 years from now, if you're spending $1,900 or $2,300 on an iPad right now, you want it to last longer than 2 years and have all the same
Yeah.
benefits.
and I would
everything.
argue it would.
Or, no, Apple's
Yeah,
Apple's built it
that's
in.
the high end one. Now, if
No.
you want $1,300 or
low-end one.
$1,500, maybe it won't.
Apple's not signaling that it's going to last more than 3 years because Apple Care doesn't last more than 3 years. They don't want to support it longer than that unless you extend it for. You can do 3 years and plus one, right? You can
think so,
extend
yeah.
it or something like that.
But-
Apple doesn't want you to have a $2,300 device that lasts more than 3 years. They want you to come back and buy the next $4,300 device and so on.
At the end of the
So-
day, though,
At the end of the day, the
this-
people who do that, Owen, don't
this
care about the
iPad
specs.
is crazy overkill as far as power goes for anyone.
100%.
I
That's
think
the
it's just
point.
like a laptop at this point without a keyboard.
That's
without
not-
a
that's
laptop
not-
OS. That's the
that's-
real problem. That's the thing,
Yeah.
Tony.
That is a
here's,
problem.
Here's
You're,
my
you're
argument.
right, Tony. I'm not
Here's
saying you're
my-
wrong.
Here's my
right.
argument, Tony.
They should either drastically overhaul iPad OS to be more
Right.
like Mac
That's
OS,
what you should be upset about.
or just put Mac OS on it, or
Right.
Yeah.
either way. But no,
At this point, the specs don't matter because the OS sucks.
No,
That's
see-
the bottom line, and that's what you should
Yeah.
be pissed off about because that's what I'm pissed off about. So let's all get pissed off about the same
But
thing.
that's the great thing,
I
though.
can be
That's
pissed
why I
out
would
of,
go with.
I can be ticked off about both though. Lando,
That's why
is
I-
the thing.
that's
And
why I-
I'll get pissed off
am.
to the other one when I care.
Well, and that's what Jaron was saying. It's okay to be pissed off of the OS. It's changing so fast. It's better to get good future-proofed hardware and then wait for them to
Well.
fix the OS.
Yeah,
If
that's
they
my
fix the
you
opinion.
OS.
don't know
If-
when they're
Yeah.
going to fix it.
Come
'cause
on,
the difference
they
here
would
is-
never let this one fall away. They're gonna
Like
upkeep
I would,
it.
I
They
would love to use it to do like small things like pay bills and stuff, but
You
it's
can still do that. It's
you,
just
you
not as
can. It's
convenient.
just so much harder to
Yeah.
to use like Excel on an iPad with
I-
the file manager on an iPad compared to
file. It's the
anything
file
else.
system exactly.
Yeah, the
Oh.
file
Yeah.
system is the biggest sore spot for sure. I just hate that they're not upfront about this kind of thing,
Yeah.
because I guarantee you, if you name any other tech company, hardware company, or anything, and if you saw them doing this, people would come unglued and
Yeah.
say, "How dare you not tell me what's actually in here? That's what I'm buying it for." But Apple does.
I
it.
wonder-
Okay, well,
I
you
wonder-
know,
I can
better
tell you
give 'em a
why
pass.
I can tell you why I care less when Apple does it. If you care, I don't think you do, but I will tell you anyway.
It doesn't matter why they do it. The fact is that they do it.
Sure, Tony, sure.
I
However,
think-
here's the difference between Apple and the other ones, right? They are tightly integrated with their hardware. I've made this argument before, and no one seems to care. So I'm going to make it again, and no one's going to care, and it's fine. But Apple is so tightly integrated with their software and their hardware that the experience on different specs is nearly identical. It's not as big a difference as it is on a PC that's an OEM different for Windows. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
I disagree, but I think what you're trying to say is this. I bought a MacBook Pro like 10 or 12 years ago, and it still works, and my son's still using it. The
And it's still great.
The battery's still good.
I've
and
been using 2016 macOS Airs, MacBook Airs for my
Right.
kids.
That's
they
my argument.
they make good products that last a long time. So
They don't want you to,
Because-
they don't want you
I
to
mean,
know that.
and they last a long time because the lower spec ones work better, right?
Here's
It's
I've
been
got
my
the-
argument for since
I'll
for
tell
the
you-
longest
I'll
time
tell
on
you.
the show.
It's not that they work
8
better.
gigs
it's
on
that
a
they-
base model MacBook Pro is not the same as 8 gigs on a base model Lenovo. It's just not.
You think Windows?
It depends
Windows
on what
OS
you're doing,
isn't
because
as
people
efficient with
tested
RAM.
this. If they're
Benchmark
using
test.
programs, if they're using programs that require more RAM, obviously the one with more RAM is going to be fine.
Well,
and be
sure,
better.
And
it
you
works
can't-
better for sure. But is
you
the
can't
one
simplify
is it
that
bad?
argument that much because their
And that-
processors are different between a Lenovo and an Apple. The
Exactly.
operating
That's
systems
my
are
point.
different. You can't
That's my
compare
point.
the RAM by the two different computers. Just like if all things were equal, yeah, 8 gigabytes in a Windows machine and 8 gigabytes in an Apple machine,
That's my
they would
point.
both suck.
Here you go. Here you
It's
go, Tony.
not
Tony, here you go.
apples to apples.
Here you go, Tony. I bet you it's so much more simpler than this. It's probably just about how many units they've ordered, and they're using this to control what people buy. The easier thing will be the thing that's bought more. They since they have to pre-build all these devices and
Well,
weld the RAM on, maybe
probably
they
true.
bury
some
the
of
higher
that.
end ones because there's less ordered, less units ordered from China or whatever.
There's
maybe,
a
I can buy
little-
that.
There might be a little bit of that, but I do see 100% why they do the CPU one, and that's because they can have higher yields from TSMC when you can disable a core
Bulk
that isn't
ordering,
working
right?
that good. All
Yeah.
of a sudden, instead of
Oh,
only
right.
75%
Just
yield
bin it down and
usable,
put it
they
in the-
just bin it down and put it
Yeah.
in the lower tier model. CPU and GPU manufacturers have been doing that for forever and ever. So, I get why they do it. I just want them to be upfront about it. That's all. I just want to see the specs right up at the front. When they were announcing it, they should have said the
maybe-
256, 512 gig, you get 8 gigs of RAM and a 9-core
Okay,
CPU.
Tony-
And the 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, you get 16 gigs of RAM and a 10-core
Oh,
CPU.
okay, Tony. Okay. I have a follow-up question for you.
Talking in circles at this
Why do
point.
No. I have a real question for you. Why do you
We're
care so much?
arguing
Why do
in
you want to know
circles.
what the specs are and have them be upfront about the specs? Why is that important to you? Different
Because
question.
every other company already does it.
So
And
if
it's
every other company
industry
jump off a cliff, you
standard.
should do it too.
Oh, come on,
That's a
Dad.
bad argument, Tony.
Come
You
on,
know it.
Dad. No, your statement is bad. So,
Just because every other company doesn't do it, doesn't mean they have to do it too.
it means they should. 'Cause
That's
it's,
right.
it's,
There
it's
it is.
more
No, you
consumer.
didn't answer
It's
my
more
question, though,
consumer
Tony.
friendly. It's
didn't
more
answer my-
consumer. Okay, there you go. It's more consumer friendly. There's your answer.
I don't think that's the real answer, but okay. I think the reason you care is because you want to compare it to apples and oranges.
No, there's
No.
no.
Because you
there's
have an
nothing-
idea saying
there
8
is-
gigabytes is like shitty or
No,
crappy.
no.
Sorry.
There is nothing.
You know what I'm saying? You understand what
Sorry
I'm
for the
saying?
language.
No,
Sorry for the
you're-
language.
you're
Family show here.
You're totally wrong, Lando, because there is no comparison of the iPad. There is nothing
Right.
out there that comes close to the iPad. I'm comparing
oh.
it to itself.
Okay,
Maybe
cool. So
maybe
follow-up
between-
question: what are you
between
going to
a
do with the specs
16
then? If you
gig
can't compare it to anything,
Between a
why do you want
16
the
gig
specs?
iPad and an 8 gigabyte iPad, I'd choose the 16 gigabyte iPad
Exactly.
for a couple $100 more.
Right there.
Why?
Bingo.
Maybe Tony
It's
just
more
doesn't like
future
it.
proof. That's why.
Maybe-
and
maybe this whole
iPads
thing
out
is
of
just-
any other device lasts a long time. So I would want an iPad that lasts a long
Comes
time.
I have a pretty
comes
crappy
down to
iPad
Tony
mini that's
just
lasted
doesn't like
forever.
clicking through menus. That's it. Tony doesn't like it. It's an opinion. You're fighting an opinion, Lando, and you can't win against an opinion. Tony doesn't like it.
It's too many clicks. Okay, we're good.
my-
I'm good now. It's too many
my
clicks and Tony don't
opinion-
like click.
My
No
opinion
clicky
is
click.
they should tell you up front. That's
Yeah.
my opinion.
List
We're
it
gonna
off.
get emails on this. I can feel it.
Anyway, let's talk about
still love
something
you, Tony.
else.
Oh, yeah, we burned through 12 minutes on that.
I know. It's
We're
just
almost-
nonsense, too.
It's just us yelling at each other. This is like an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia at this point. We just
Man,
yell
this
at
is
each
good
other.
content, guys.
Is it? Let's hope so.
Email us if it's bad content. Email us if it's good.
Also
please email
emails
us.
us.
Also email us. Okay, I've been sitting on this one for a little bit. It's a quick one. Framework, you know, the laptop company that makes the world's most repairable laptops.
The modular ones, right?
Yep.
Do they
highly
list their
res-
specs, Tony?
Highly,
Sorry, I could not resist.
Absolutely, they do. Every single piece of it because they're consumer friendly. All
That's
right,
it.
so
You got there.
Tony friendly.
They
How many clicks does it take
none. You just scroll down.
to reach
They,
the center of a Tony Pop?
They
was a good joke.
have
No one
announced. First of all, it was Owen that talked about the clicks. I never brought the clicks up. It doesn't matter.
Trolled.
You friggin' troll. All right, so we know that they make really neat repairable laptops, upgradable laptops, and they've just gone through another round of funding. They got, I think, like $18 million more or something in Series A. And what they announced that's really neat, though, is they've said that they have in their plans, they haven't announced anything about it, but in their plans to expand beyond laptops. So we could maybe see a framework phone or, a framework.
What was that, Jaron? Remind me,
desktop.
what was that? What was that phone? The modular, the snap-in?
The Project Aura?
Aria.
Maybe that comes back.
Yeah, we could have Project Aria back. And I just think that's really cool. If anyone's going to be able to do it, it's framework because they've
Yeah.
already shown that they can.
Track record, right?
Yep, they can do it in the laptops. So
Just give me a phone with a replaceable battery, and I'll be happy.
Seriously.
That's all I want.
And an IR blaster, am I right?
Yeah, that's right. Everyone should have an eye.
give me that Blaster. All right, Lando, you have had a list here for a while, and I want.
Hold
to
on.
The,
Okay, go
what,
ahead.
What do you? What?
I am.
Are you
doing
playing
the,
Balatro?
No, I'm getting ready for the end of the show. The be an end users thing.
Oh,
I
okay.
still have a good one.
All right. Let's.
Got it. Go ahead. I'm good now.
Let's
predict
talk
it's
about
gonna be a
your.
burn on
We're
Tony.
going to end on your. Let's see, is there anything else we really need to get to?
Where's the link? Where's the link? Oh, no.
Actually, Jaron, let's talk real quick about Neuralink's implant detaching because that's
yeah,
a pretty
yeah.
big deal.
It's detaching from the patient's brain.
Is this the same guy that was using it to play Mario Kart and stuff
Yes.
like that?
Yeah, yes, it was.
that sucks.
Yep, it began to detach from the patient's brain. The company revealed on Wednesday. So it lasted a couple months.
The brain was like, get out of here.
Yeah, the functionality began to decrease within the month after his implant. Some of the device's threads, which connect the computer to the brain, had begun to retract.
That's scary sounding. and
Yeah,
also
scary. So the
very
engineers
unfortunate.
refined the implant and they restored the functionality.
Oh, okay.
He went back in for a re-up.
Yep.
What, they just went over to his head and pushed on the
Yeah.
wire, so it went
Just
back
slapped
in
it.
further.
Just slapped it. Just gave him a like Batty Coda.
Sounds
Bung.
awful. Or like a CRT monitor when you need to fix it.
Yeah,
Just
or
hit it on
Han
the side.
Solo and the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Blowing in the Nintendo disc right there. Just
There you
Yep.
go. All
Okay,
right.
I'm ready.
Well,
I'm ready.
glad the functionality's back and they were able to. But
Creepy.
yeah, it sounds icky. All right,
Uh-huh.
17 things to do with an old computer that they probably sold you that didn't have enough RAM.
Right,
and
so-
didn't tell you
so
how much
the-
RAM it was in there to begin
probably had to
with.
click
The-
through
the
all those
people
menus
who-
and it really sucks.
The people who listen to this podcast like computers. They like buying new computers. We tend to keep our old computers hanging around because we we might be able to use that thing someday, right?
Yep.
So here we have a list because everyone loves a list of 17 creative uses for your old computer. So let's go through this thing real quick. Number 1, experiment with a new, lighter OS. So have you ever wondered what Google OS is like? Throw it on your old laptop.
Linux.
Put
Not.
on Linux, right?
Don't put on
Here's a-
Chrome OS. Put on
Here's
Linux. It's
here's a
better.
vote. What's your favorite Linux flavor?
Kali.
Cali? No, you don't even
No,
know
I
what you're
don't use
saying.
that
Come
one.
on.
I like what in my Linux days, which was like 13, 14 years ago. I was in the Ubuntu camp for sure.
Ubuntu?
My
Yeah.
favorite is whatever the Steam Deck uses because that thing is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't used it. but-
Proton?
Proton? Is that
No, no, no.
Proton's
Proton-
the translation
yeah,
layer for
it
the
is.
gaming stuff.
If you like Ubuntu, go check out Linux Mint. It's a good.
I've heard good things about Linux, man.
They
I've
take
also heard good things.
Mint's long-term support release and they refine it and make it a little bit more pretty. I like it a lot.
Number 2, this is what Owen does. Serve up some media. Create your own PEX server or Plex server.
Plex.
Not PEX. That's plumbing. That's a different
Yep.
thing.
That's
If
a
you're gonna
two.
use an old computer though, make sure you do Linux for that because Linux has a much lower footprint on resources than Windows. So
That's what you did on our old Minecraft server. Is use Linux.
I did. I decided that was a bad idea at this point, just because nobody does it, and so all the forums on how to add add-ons that Lando wanted all these add-ons. I had to do a bunch of learning when I could have just been like, 2 clicks on Windows. But anyway,
Yeah.
but
Ever
it runs a
since-
lot more efficiency. It's still running. It's been up. The uptime on that thing has almost been a year now.
Wow, someone should hire you
Pretty okay.
to do things.
Yeah.
Number
hired
3,
already.
turn your old PC into a NAS home server. For those of you who don't know, that is a network attached storage device.
I did that.
Did you really?
I did. I took an old PC and turned it into a NAS, and then a couple years later, I got a real NAS because the old PC was not very power efficient. So I bought
What were you?
a much more
What
power
OS were you using?
efficient.
You were using Unraid.
Unraid. Yep.
Unraid was the host OS.
How much
That's a
storage do you
good
have on
OS.
it?
At the time, I think I had 20 terabytes. My new one has 40
It's pretty good.
with 512 SSD cache, so it transfers faster over the network, and then it
Nice.
offloads it to the hard drive after it's done.
Oh, that's cool. All right, number 4.
Darn
Hack
right
together,
it is.
and this one's actually interesting. Hack together an anonymous PC. So this is one that you could browse anonymously you liked, anonymously on. They recommend using the Amnestic Incognito Live system or Tails. I don't know what that is, but it can run on Linux distros, and install with the flash drive, so it can be truly anonymous. So that's interesting. I didn't think about doing that.
Yeah.
Number 5, fire up a hotspot. So using it as like a Wi-Fi spot. I don't know if
Wi-Fi
all of them could do
extender,
that, but some of
basically.
them could. Whatever.
All right.
Most of these what to do with old computers starts with rip off Windows or whatever's on it and put
Yeah,
Linux on it.
something else
Yeah.
on.
Create a starter PC for a distant family, right? So if you have a family member who is less technically inclined, you could pass it off to them, blah, blah, blah.
Here, take my old crap.
Yeah.
Yep. You could use it as a guest or kitchen PC. So something that just sits
I've
in
also
your...
done that.
A guest PC?
Not well. I mean,
Yeah.
I do have a guest PC.
Can I use
but
your laptop?
that's-
Oh.
Yeah. Here's this.
I don't
the
get
guest computer.
guests.
I have a dedicated 3D printing PC that
Just
only
keep
does
it-
3D
it's a-
printing.
You have a
stuff.
problem, Tony.
No.
Yes.
Well, it's like
Actually, it
the thing,
sounds like I have solutions. is
it's
what
a
it sounds
headache.
like.
It's just like you don't want to have to worry about anything else running on there.
Yep.
You know.
Just web browsing and 3D printing.
So number 8, make a tablet. Someone has DIY'd a tablet out of a laptop, so they've detached the screen and made it into a tablet somehow. That's
But he
pretty
knows
dope.
exactly how much RAM is on that without having to look anywhere.
4 gigs.
It's an old PC, so yeah, 4 gigs.
Yeah. Sorry.
This one, turn it up to 11. Make it a dedicated media player for your media center. Create your own security cam. Number 10. That one's meh.
That one's more for like old phones because you can do that with old phones really easily.
Yeah, that's fair.
Old smartphones.
Number 11. Go old school gaming. So older
That's
PCs
true.
can handle older games. So if
That's
you want to
true.
play some older games, use
You
an older
could, and
PC.
if you can find a CRT monitor to hook that up to.
Ooh,
Even
yeah,
better.
That would,
Mm-hmm.
Authentic.
This one's for Owen. You could contribute CPU cycles. So turn it into a
Boom.
miner for cryptocurrency?
Here's what else.
No,
you can
no,
do.
no.
You
They're
can also-
talking about SETI at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, SETI
Not
would-
cryptocurrency.
Oh,
I didn't.
Search
I just
for
read the
extra-
headline, Jaron. Don't
Yeah.
give me. Don't
Search
don't
for-
fact check me here.
SETI. Define SETI, Jaron. Search for.
But you could also use it to mine
extraterrestrial
Bitcoin. Why not?
Something.
Intelligence.
Intelligence.
You think extraterrestrial intelligence will be into cryptocurrency?
Sure.
Maybe
That's
that's what
probably
they
who
use.
we got it from. I'll bet
Yeah.
that's not. I'll bet that's.
But like I've actually
who
done that with
Nakamoto
phones.
guy is. Who's got it?
Yeah, and that's how
Satoshi
they
Naka.
decided to take over Earth. They're
Yeah.
like, let the humans be obsessed about this fake
Look at
thing,
this.
and they'll burn up their own planet.
Yeah.
That's it.
They were like, oh, so. Sorry, I'm not going to follow that joke. It's dumb. I did have a phone that I ran the protein folding on, an old phone, until it swelled the battery up and destroyed it. But I have run computers for the protein folding, which is really a cool project. That was one of the ways they decoded the human genome.
Yep.
Because it's called the Human Genome Project, and SETI is awesome. There's a bunch of things you can, if you have the capacity to run a computer and just let it run calculations, there's some cool things you can hook up to and donate that clocks to.
Nice.
So anyway,
Number 13, make it a dedicated video conferencing computer and use it for only Zoom or Teams or whatever. Okay, that's the
sounds
thing you could
awful.
do. Yeah. If it's an older tower PC, you could do like Jaron does and upgrade it and make it new again.
Refurb.
so just use the case.
Yeah.
Yep. Number
exactly.
15, you could do what Owen does and host a Minecraft server
I do that.
or other game servers.
I'm thinking about Terraria next.
Ooh, I'd be down for that. I've never played it before, so maybe it'd be good to do. Number 16, make a digital photo frame so you could, again, hack together a photo frame out of an old laptop. That could be fun. If they're really old, you could, tear them apart and hang them on the wall and make them into art.
I hope that one.
And that's
of
number
these
17.
is-
That's it. That's
what?
the list.
Oh, come on. Well, honorable mention number 18. Get all the parts and put them in acid and get the gold.
Where are you going to
you-
get the acid?
Hey, don't knock it till you go on YouTube and fall down that rabbit hole like I did. Go watch gold recycling from computer parts, and you will easily lose 3 or 4 hours of your life and feel invigorated to go steal old computers from somewhere. There is gold on them there chips. So
All right. Well, there you go.
I
Okay. That's it. We're all done. This episode's over. Hope you enjoyed the arguing.
Very good.
12,
You know what? No, Tony.
12 minutes of
Tony.
why menus exist.
Tony. Okay. Here's the thing: is sometimes I think it's good to have opposing viewpoints on the
Oh
show.
no, I agree.
Right?
100%. Yeah.
As
It's
long
okay
as the
that you-
viewpoints make sense.
Yeah, you chose that hill, and I respect that. You know,
Yep.
I appreciate that. Owen.
If Lando wants to plant his flag on that hill,
right?
so
It's a small.
be it.
It was a small hill, and now it's not anymore. But I appreciate it.
Let's see. Big shout out
that.
to our Patreon backers, patreon.com/helpdeskarcade. Thank you so much for those of you that donate. If you feel like donating, we would appreciate it. And for those that donate $6 a month or more, you get a shout out at the end of the episode, which is where we're at right now. So Jaron has those.
Thank you to David Broshinsky, Connor Keesaw, and Wolfball Tony, Jason Eatman, Keonda Cardinal. Lambo is 3.6 roentgens. I don't know what that means.
Roentgens. That's a Russian measurement of radiation.
Yeah.
You should be flattered. Andy Bird, Be the 8-Year-Old, Tony the Home Theater Geek, Jeremy, No Name, No Color, Keslow, Eric Steinman, Eric Cruz, The In-Between Rating +7,
Yes.
Matt
Good one last week.
Nelson, Harry Patch, Adam, Aaron Faulkner, Stuart Lloyd. The problem with society is there are no molehills, not meatballs, that can't be mountain climbed over.
Hey,
look
wait a
at that.
minute.
I
This
just
is
referenced
relevant.
that. Whoa. I
What?
feel
When?
hurt.
Wow.
Just now.
Just
Lando,
like
I said his
30
hill.
seconds ago, a minute
I was like,
ago.
his hill started small, but now it's much bigger.
Now it's a mountain.
Now it's a mountain.
Yeah, I don't remember that. Ryan M. and Adam Hecht.
that
Thank you,
hurts.
guys.
That hurt.
All right. Thank you so much, Patreon backers. We appreciate you.
We do.
That's the end. Join us at Geek Show Arcade, or else you'll miss it.
Or the in-between, you
Or the
beautiful
yeah,
Patreon listeners.
There you go. Lando, finish this off. Take us out.
When buying a computer, be sure to click through to the specs. And when there are too many clicks, put in a ticket and complain loudly. Be an end user.